Oh, good morning, Scott. I was hoping you could talk a little bit about what you see as the trends in food retailing for 2024.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for the question. I think as you look to 2024, the elephant in the room is what's going to happen with inflation. Uh, a number of the companies, I think Walmart's been out there talking that we could even go deflationary. On the last AHO conference call, I was surprised the idea of deflation in 24 was not swatted just away by the management team. And so we're already seeing in our own pricing work, and R5 Capital is both a consulting and a research firm, so we do a lot of consulting into all of retail, but we do a decent amount right into the food at home space, and that's on everybody's mind. Will we see outright deflation in 2024? And even if we don't, we're starting to cycle some of the very significant price increases, and that's still benefiting sales. So if you look at I mentioned our pricing surveys. If you look at our pricing surveys, what's interesting is that all of a sudden inflation is almost ground to a complete stop. We were in the Houston market a month or two ago, and over the last 6 months, there was no inflation at all. In fact, there was a little deflation. We were up in Chicago about a week and a half ago, and lo and behold, year over year, inflation was falling, or there was deflation. And so I think as we get into 2024, what happens here is really important. Obviously, we still have wage pressure out there. A lot of people have been saying it's easier to get labor, but no one's saying it is easy to get labor. And so you're still looking at wage increases, certainly through the first half of the year until we cycle some of that. Unemployment rate's still very low. So you have one of these situations where your costs, if your labor costs are still rising, yet pricing at the shelf looks flattish. And then the challenge really is that volumes in the industry continue to be negative. And unfortunately, outside of Walmart, everyone is saying the elasticities have not been what they wished they would be as we stabilize pricing. So if you look at an industry volume trend of about down 3, and now we're taking inflation to 0, that would say people are going to be doing a -3 comp unless they're gaining share. And so this is the overall macro picture for next year. And from our vantage point right now, it's looking pretty difficult in peering into at least the first quarter. I mean, I think we got a war, we got a lot of things going on here, but at least over the next 3 to 6 months through the holidays and into the first quarter, it looks like it's going to be a pretty challenging period.
Great. It does look like a lot of retailers are expecting it to be challenging in the year ahead, but at least to start out. But there's a lot of uncertainty out there, certainly. But uh, can you talk a little bit about competition from players like Walmart, Aldi, and other low-priced players? How that might play out in the year ahead and for traditional operators?
Yeah, and I'd actually throw Amazon in there. It doesn't get as much play in grocery anymore, but it probably should. So we'll take on all three of those, and maybe even throw in Costco too. So I think as you look at competition, the 800-pound gorilla, the 1,600-pound gorilla, the 2,400-pound gorilla is Walmart, Walmart, Walmart. They are gaining enormous amounts of share. We talked about the industry volumes being down about 3, maybe some 4-week period it's down 2. Walmart's up about 1% according to our research. And this has been the case for a long time now, at least 18 months. And so what that's doing is it's shifting a lot of share to the guys in Bentonville, and it's to the detriment of traditional supermarkets. There's no doubt about it. Top of that list is actually Kroger. And we've been stunned to see Kroger really not react to Walmart in a meaningful way. I mean, Kroger and Walmart compete more than any two retailers, maybe globally. There's tremendous overlap in that store base. And it's hard to look at Walmart's share gains and not and Kroger share losses is, different sides of the same coin. And I don't know when that stops. I really don't. And I don't know how you can run a company, losing the share you're losing. And, that's just kind of where we sit. And so the competition right now is likely to increase from Walmart, not decrease. The company's going through a very significant productivity upgrade, technology upgrade, automation upgrade. We would estimate that's going to improve their productivity by about 30%. Some of that is undoubtedly going to go into price. When you build these types of facilities or build into current facilities, automation and processes and really drive up your fixed costs, the best thing to do in that situation is to drive a lot of volume over those assets. They have said to me that, price is definitely going to be a part of that. And so as we get through, you've asked about 24, as we get into 24 and more of these automated facilities come on, my guess is Walmart's going to get more aggressive on price to drive volumes. And so they're already gaining a lot of share. They are likely to use price to gain even more share where it's appropriate. The other thing you have to talk about with Walmart is the Walmart Plus offering. They just over the summer opened up a discounted Walmart Plus membership, about half price, about $49.99 or $95 or whatever the exact price is. $6.47 a month, if my memory is serving me correct, for EBT, for food stamps. Kroger did the same thing. They're now able to pay online with EBT. So the Walmart was somewhat a first mover, but everyone's catching up real quick. But the challenge is that Walmart Plus is a great offering, and it's not quite to the Amazon Prime offering, but it's a good offering. You get Paramount Plus as part of your Walmart Plus membership. You get great gas discounts. You're getting travel deals. It seems like almost every 2 or 3 days, because we're Walmart Plus members, you get another enticing offer. And so, we look at Walmart as the guy to beat at this stage. And I'm not sure what stops the share gains. They believe they can gain 100 to 150 basis points of volume share a year. And that's their plan. And so, and I think they can do it. And so you look at that and you say to yourself, that's not great. But they're not the only game in town where you got to be concerned. And like I said, Amazon does not get a lot of play. But we do cover Amazon. We talk to the company frequently, and there is no doubt that they believe they can gain a lot more in-home consumables volume as they drive their delivery times down. And that's what they're trying to do. And like Walmart, they're putting a lot of fixed assets into place. They're automating, they're putting machines in, they're using AI. Same model. They will use price. Our research already shows they're using price, by the way, very aggressively. I almost fell off my chair it was the second quarter conference call. Andy Jaffe, the CEO, must have mentioned, we're pleased, we're happy, we couldn't be more thrilled with the discounting they're doing. A lot of that discounting is going right into the in-home consumable space. A particular note there is health and beauty care, and the drugstores are clearly going to suffer, but also things like household chemical and paper, dry grocery. They are loaded, cock loaded and aimed, if that's the right expression, at in-home consumables, and they're driving their delivery times down. So you got the Amazon issue. Third up on the competition, I would throw in is Costco. Doesn't get talked about like Amazon probably as much as it should, but they are grabbing and continue to grab a lot of share in consumables. And I think it gets maybe obfuscated because of their other businesses in jewelry or TVs or whatever it is, but they are a major share gainer in the in-home consumables marketplace. So before we go on to Aldi, I'm going to take those three first. We would peg them, Walmart, Amazon, and Costco, at about 35 share currently in the US. It's debatable. We put Walmart share at about 22%. They think it's at 26. Everyone looks at it a little bit differently, but let's use our 35. We already said Walmart wants to gain 100 to 150 bips. We know what Amazon's plans are. Costco's gaining share. So in 5 years, is it likely that Walmart, Amazon, and Costco will be 40% of that market, in-home consumables market? I'd say that's highly likely. Could it be 45? It could. And so the other impact here is not just the share losses, but it's also the loss of vendor money. Vendor money over time follows volume. You can call it advertising, you can call it mining data, you can call it whatever you want to call it. It's vendor money. And vendor money follows the volume. And so this is an extraordinarily big challenge. So that's even before we get to Aldi. So let's take Aldi as a separate entity. Obviously, a discounter. Their pricing is extraordinarily cheap. We clock them in as 6 to 10% under Walmart on their private label. They just bought Winn-Dixie down here in Florida. They're probably like to divide those stores, but also but there's going to be a lot more Winn-Dixies here. Not Winn-Dixies, a lot more Aldis here in the state of Florida. That might be, it's almost like a second derivative good news for Kroger, because Publix down here has got almost a monopoly, and so to the degree Aldi can hurt Publix's margins on the margin, that would probably be helpful to Kroger, as Kroger has increasing competition from Publix in its southern region. But Aldi is someone to watch. They're going to just grind it out. They're going to take share. If the economy does get worse, they win. So it's definitely someone to watch. And it's interesting to see where they're putting their stores, because it's not, and we've been talking about this off and on in Supermarket News when I've been interviewing with you guys, about at least a decade ago, they said, you know what, we're not going to just go to lower income neighborhoods. We're going to go to lower middle. We're going to go to middle. And now even they're venturing to what I would say more upper middle income neighborhoods. And R5 Capital just moved its headquarters down to Florida. And I was surprised. We're in the Bradenton, Sarasota area, so I like to get out and get into stores. That's our job. And so there was an Aldi on the corner of, no one's going to know where this is, or maybe a couple people, University and Lorraine, in Lakewood Ranch. This is not a low rent district. This is, I would say, right down the street. They're building homes that start at 1.2 million. And so the Aldi phenomenon is reaching up. The Aldi phenomenon is very much appealing to the 35 and under crowd. And I think that's really important. When I walked into that store, and when I've been in that store several times, it's all young moms. And so it's a grinder, but could Aldi take 50 bips of market share per year over the next 5 years? It could. And so these are the dynamics in play, and it's very difficult. It's likely to be a very difficult period again for the traditional supermarkets.